Hey, what's going on, guys? All in channel, host Sega Forever. I know this video is coming in a little bit late, in the 0 hour, because I know the topic that we're going to talk about today, as you can see by the title, the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase 2022. I haven't been able to do hardly any videos, and I wanted to do a couple. So what I'll do is I just decided to just do this little hangout, this little podcast, and give you guys my thoughts for the showcase thus far. I've actually been enjoying it. And of course, if you're an Xbox guy like me, for Xbox channel, tomorrow's the big event for all us Xbox guys. And Microsoft and Bethesda do their showcase. But overall, man, the showcase for this week, I've actually enjoyed it. And I'm not a big fan of Jeff Keighley, as you guys know, if you follow me on my channel. Um, Never really liked the guy's showcase at all. But for some reason, and maybe because I had some time, the stuff I was doing at work, I was able to listen to it at work. I was doing a lot of stuff that was repetitive, and when I do a lot of repetitive stuff, data entry type of things, it's always good to have something in the background going on, just so I can stay focused on what I'm doing. It also distracts from all the other stuff that's going on around me. So basically, white noise. I kind of like that. It helps me in my job. But I have to say, man, when I started letting it play in the background, um, there's a couple times actually started listening to it, and as the show progressed, I was like, wow, this sounds like something that I would like to listen to or actually watch. And the interesting thing about it is, normally what I'll do is I'll listen to a lot of the Xbox guys that I follow. And I'll be honest with you, dude, I don't follow a lot of the main Xbox guys because they're absolutely horrible, especially those guys who are influencers. Um, how they're Xbox influencers, I have no idea. It's one thing to be pro Xbox and to criticize Xbox and Microsoft when they're doing things that are wrong, or maybe you need an explanation of some reason because you're involved so heavily in their ecosystem, like I am. You're actually not just a fan, but a consumer. You have concerns. Those concerns are warranted, especially when it comes to the money aspect of it, right? That you've put so much money into their ecosystem as far as subscription services and buying their games. As in my case, as you guys know, man, I know my channel. I want to get it to this point, but at least for me, I consume more than just video games when it comes to pop culture. So, Microsoft at one point was doing a lot of different things. They've kind of scaled it down, but they still offer stuff throughout the year, which celebrates other aspects and avenues of pop culture. Case in point, when you do Anime Month, excuse me, guys. When you do Anime Month, right? That's pretty cool. So they'll do those kind of things off and on. Again, not as heavily as they did with the Xbox One era. Sorry, guys. Not as heavily as they did with the Xbox One era, but they've done it consistently throughout the years. So when it comes to that kind of things, I like to consume my stuff um, through just various avenues and stuff like that. But if it's in one location, that's a great thing too. So what I ended up doing, again, getting back to the showcase stuff. So what I ended up doing was just listening to it, and then it was sounded interesting to me. Some of the gameplay trailers they were showing, kind of stood out to me as well. And there seemed to be a balance with the program this year than I've seen in any other year. And I actually tweeted this. That's I actually like the show. And so anyway, I stopped watching it and I tried to listen to some of the other guys, but unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the Xbox guys are kind of busy. I mean, they're doing shows and stuff like that, but it's just like me to do this video. There's a lot of other things that um, I have to do first before I can actually think about doing videos. And you get that kind of stuff out of the way, and then the videos that I make or these live streams that I do has to compete with actual uh, other things that I like to do, like playing Game Pass, right? Playing my games on Game Pass. And so that's what ended up happening. I kind of sacrificed some of the Game Pass stuff, took a little bit of a break from it because I've been playing it kind of nonstop. Like right now, I'm playing Sniper 5. I jumped back into Unpack, which I think is a really cool indie game. Um, Trek to Yomi, I need to get back on. You're reading Chronicles. I pretty much beat the game. What I'm doing right now is just going through. some of the story arcs and tying some loose ends up and doing some jobs and leveling up my character even more. So I pretty much, yeah, got my got my stuff on rotation. I actually started playing Star Citizen. That's actually kind of a cool game. And the one draw in for me is actually the story and the characters. The story is really interesting. It's pretty well written. And whoever does the dialogue on that game does a really good job. At least it was something that intrigued me when I actually downloaded the game. I just A lot of you guys who use Game Pass realize this too. I downloaded the game and I started playing it, and it was nothing what I expected, not at all. But I kept on playing it, and it's something that actually piqued my interest. And then I actually played it, and I got kind of lost in it. And mostly, like I said, because it's the story, but it just has some things that they do in that game that I was not expecting. So if you guys want to check out kind of a narrative story driven game, that's definitely one to check out. Again, if it's in Game Pass, just download it, try it out. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, like I said before. But because I like to play my games and I like a lot of variety, that's probably why Game Pass, I'm such a big proponent of it. Because as a gamer, it actually meets my needs, not just as an Xbox gamer, but just a gamer in general, right? And then going back to the showcase, that's kind of how I felt, man. Watching that showcase kind of felt like, you know, how I was back in the day, man, when I was hardcore into gaming. And I still am at some aspects, but I mean, gaming back in the day used to consume quite a bit of my life. So, and I'm not just talking about playing video games. I mean, everything, the industry stuff, and of course, back then when I was growing up, we didn't have the avenues that people have. In fact, I would have to say that maybe social media and the internet that we have now is probably a detriment for a lot of this stuff. So for us old school gamers, we had to actually hunt this stuff, right? It just didn't. It wasn't at the press of a button or at the tip of our fingertips, so to speak. A lot of this stuff was you were hardcore, and that's why I think right now you have a lot of problems in the gaming communities because a lot of people aren't really gamers, or at least don't love the industry like a lot of us did back in the day. It was a niche thing back when I was growing up. And I'm not saying that it's bad that it's expanded. It's great, but everybody now thinks themselves a gamer, and that's just not true. And I know that some people don't like when people like myself say that kind of thing, but I just got to be honest about it, man. I mean, it's one thing to kind of dabble in something; it's another thing to kind of like something, but it's a whole another thing if you invest a lot of time, money, and energy into it. And the best analogy I can use is if you're a sports fan. I'm a Steeler fan. I bleed black and gold. I'll always be a Steeler fan. I'll always not like other teams, because they've always been Steeler rivals, no matter how the times change or how, modernized the sport becomes, how many, causes they fall behind. I'm old school, man. And for me, Steelers always been run the ball, play defense. And that stuff's just baked into my core. So, when I have people now that are Steeler fans, they might like it because a certain person's on there. And the NFL's like that now anyway. The NFL isn't like the same as when I was growing up. They actually had people that hated each other back in the day, and there's like hardcore rivalries and stuff like that. And because of the demographics and the way things have changed and free agency and all that stuff, it's just not the same NFL. Because back in the day, those in-state rivalries mattered. Those crosstown rivalries mattered. The division. I can't stand any of the teams in my division, and that's why it was interesting to me because there's there's people that don't look at football that way anymore. But I'm a dinosaur, so that time will pass. But as far as the gaming's concerned, that's how gaming was back in the day. And anyway, so that's what the showcase felt like when I watched it. I actually watched the whole thing, all 5 hours, not all in one time, but just in pieces throughout the day. And Jeff Jeff Keighley wasn't as irritating for some reason. And you know what? I noticed that a lot of the Xbox guys, like myself, I mean, I said that we're praising it per se, but it was something that was enjoyable. And like I said, since I'm OG gamer, it's because for me it felt like the industry of old. Like they would just come out, show you the games, um, do some stuff in there, but everything was focused on the industry. Everything was focused on the games. It wasn't about a certain personality. It wasn't about a certain console. I think Xbox had representation in there. Um, I mean, they're gonna have their own showcase, which is tomorrow, of course, which is why I'm doing this video. But they definitely have some representation on there. So if you're an Xbox fan, you got stuff out of it. But if you placed Switch, you got a little bit something out of it. PlayStation, You got kind of a little bit out of it, and it was very well balanced in my opinion. I don't know anything about Steam. I just found out what wish listed means, because I watched that. Because I don't play on PC and I don't play Steam, right? But it was kind of cool because you saw a lot of stuff, and it didn't since it didn't focus really on the. I mean, it would mention coming for this, and this, coming for PS4 or coming for Xbox, Series S and X or whatever. Um, but the main focus again was the industry and the games. And there's some really cool stuff that they show. Really cool stuff. I wish I would have wrote down a list of the games that I saw, but there was not a game. A couple games, of course. You know, it's probably nothing I'm into. Just like everybody wants me to play Elden Ring, I just don't like games like that. Nothing against the game. It's just not my type of game. So there are a couple games like that, and they're not like Elden Ring, but games that didn't catch my interest. But I was surprised how many games actually did. There was some stuff they put out there that I was like, wow, that game looks incredibly cool. Now, if it comes to Xbox, that's cool, right? And the way Microsoft is working things, which is one of the things I'm interested about the showcase tomorrow. And what I mean by working things is how Microsoft is making even more connections, right? Dealing with more developers. They've been trying to do a lot of stuff in Japan. They do a lot of stuff here locally. They do a lot of stuff overseas in Europe. So I'm hopeful that tomorrow they'll have a little bit more surprises when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like a lot of these games, if it can get in Game Pass day and date, that would be awesome. Especially for a person like me, because if I really like the game, I'll buy it. But overall, really like the show. And again, Jeff Keighley wasn't as irritating. I like the base of it. I like how they kind of brisk stuff. I like how they focused on certain things. Whether it was bringing somebody up on the stage, they didn't really spend a lot of time with getting into the weeds of stuff. For somebody like me, I tend to like that kind of stuff. But I know as far as overall with the show, when they start doing that kind of stuff, right, the pacing kind of grinds to a halt. And I'm not talking about, like I said, I like the developers coming on the stage and kind of explaining what they're trying to do, but they kept it kind of short and sweet. So that was also good. The pacing was solid. Um, yeah, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I was going to do a video about it, but I'll just do it here. It was actually refreshingly surprising. In fact, because I enjoyed that so much, I actually started hunting stuff that had to do with Game Fest. And the next thing I watched was the Digital. Or wait, Devolver? Revolver. Devolver, right? Devolver Digital. They had a showcase that was absolutely awesome, dude. It was like about a half-hour show, right? And they did it in a skit format. And whoever did the writing on that, dude, that guy deserves like a bonus because the writing on there was solid. The whole concept of it, they basically did a skit talking about their games and introducing their games. But what they did was they did it in the current event of like how Microsoft people purchasing developers and titles and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm not gonna ruin it for you. Highly recommend you guys check it out. It was actually pretty cool. And what they did, they used that as a vehicle, and then they would introduce their games, and it was just seamless. It was really well done. I mean, like I said, whoever did that had those ideas and stuff like that should get a bonus because it was really pretty awesome. Other than that, I tried to catch out some of the Netflix stuff. That's where I kind of fell behind. And then if because again, man, I'm trying to get my Game Pass time in, gaming on Game Pass, and that's hard, dude. That's why I think like I said, a lot of our guys who I normally follow, um, haven't been putting out that much content. Like when I look at Hebot stuff, the world's most popular gamer, I look at his stuff, and he's constantly playing games and sharing his videos on YouTube, which I try and catch, right? So, as the week went on and other stuff popped up, that kind of stuff fell to the wayside. I'll probably catch up on it. I wanted to do it before I actually watched the Game Fest, but that won't happen. Because like I said, I'm doing this video now. I have to run around and get a lot of stuff done. And I actually got to see Top Gun Maverick today. And it was a totally awesome movie. I'll do a separate video apart from this talking about it. I'll give you guys my review. But it was amazing. It was an amazing movie. I'm still thinking about it. I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, I got to hurry up and put this video out because it's getting late where I live. It's like a lot of you guys are probably sleeping and then be getting up before me and then watching the showcase. I actually might watch the showcase tomorrow. And I know Xbox influencers that I follow, or Xbox guys that I follow here on YouTube, are actually going to do a live event. So I'll probably be checking it out that way. So I think the Exile podcast are going to be doing it. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'll definitely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to watch it tomorrow, and then give my thoughts afterwards. But as for now, um, as far as what I'm expecting, not too much, man. Um, you know, I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that I've heard as far as rumors are concerned. So the way I am, dude, as on this channel, dude, I think speculating, rumors, being excited, getting hyped for stuff is I have no problem with people doing that. In fact, I mean, as me as a fan, I encourage people to do that. Now, I think where a lot of people have problems is when your expectations are met and then you get disappointed. Like for somebody like me, yeah, I can get disappointed too about certain stuff like that. But the way I am, dude, I just like after the showcase, maybe I get what I want, maybe I don't. Maybe they have super huge news, maybe they don't. Um, but I expect them to at least have a solid program because they've been hitting it out of the park for every other event that they had. And even though the setback or supposed setback, I don't even like saying that, but according to people, right, Microsoft is over because of the delays that happened recently. And of course, the whole Game Pass fatigue, which is absolute BS. And I don't buy into any of that crap. So if it doesn't, like example, right, tomorrow, what would I like to see? I wouldn't mind seeing like Microsoft announce that they're making purchases. I did a video talking about this the other week, where I don't think Microsoft should just sit and wait for Activision to happen. I think they actually need to go and pursue other companies because these companies are in talks with a lot of different people. Again, you guys know my model of market share, especially when it comes to Game Pass, because Game Pass I absolutely love, and I want it to be the top dog. So in order for it to be the top dog, it needs content. In order for Microsoft to get content, they have the studios in place, right? But they gotta constantly be competitive and put themselves out there. Pick up some of these other studios, whether big or small, but just give them the content and the variety that they need, to maintain that top position because they are in that top position. And a lot of it is because they're the ones that took all the risks in the beginning. But now that Game Pass is successful, right, that it is doable, that people looked at the numbers and the stats, and it's far from bulletproof. Like I said, I want it to be bulletproof, but it's actually something that works, right? And it's just how they nurture it and carry it forward. And one of the things I think they should do again is they should just go and buy the companies that they need to buy to make their to make Game Pass the place where everybody wants to go play their games, at least games that they're streaming content, right? Again, the Netflix of gaming, they need to be the Netflix of gaming. So I would hope tomorrow. I wouldn't mind seeing like an EA announcement or WB announcement, Sega announcement. I always talk about that, and I'm not again, guys. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just telling you guys that I would like to see them continue to be aggressive when it comes to picking up people, and they've said as much. And I know the Activision thing is weighing heavy. I mean, but again, like I said, when you have other big corporations out there, these big conglomerates gobbling up, you know, all this IP and stuff like that, you can't be timid, man. You got to get out there. And Microsoft has the ability to do so. There's not a lot of companies that can do that. I hate to see them drop the ball just because they're being cautious. At this point, there's no reason, in my opinion, right, for them to be cautious. Man, they should just full speed ahead. They've already set that. They've already set that tone. They've already set the standard, right? So it's up to them to exceed it. And again, if they come out with tomorrow with some, acquisitions or announcement of acquisitions, I would be totally happy with that. Other thing, of course, like everybody else is saying, gameplay. And but now, look, I'm not one. If they play trailers, I'm fine with that too. I'm not one of these guys like, oh, it has to be gameplay, not trailers. Squash all that, dude. Right? I have content that I can play right now. Like I said, dude, if things don't go the way that I expect them to go tomorrow, right? That I predicted to go, and I'm not even going to predict stuff. I'm just telling people what I want to see and how I feel. But if that doesn't come into fruition, man, no harm, no foul. I'll just go back and start playing Game Pass. I'll go do my video on Maverick and why it's the best movie I've seen so far this year. I mean, it is an amazing movie for the reasons why movies are made. It captures why movies are made, right? It has an old school feel to it, right? But it's very modernized. There's a lot of stuff they do in there. And again, I won't get into detail because I don't want to. I'll do a separate video. But I'll have other things to do besides sitting here moping, of what Microsoft didn't do or did do or could have done or should have done. You know. And I wouldn't mind that so much if I trust your opinion. There's very few people, especially as the years have gone on when it comes to Microsoft, that I trust their opinion. But a lot of these guys who are influencers, man, they're again, I don't know why Microsoft puts these people up. I understand they may either have followings or they're more digestible to people out there, people like myself. As if you guys follow me on social media, you guys know I'm politically charged. So that's strike one, and rightfully so. I mean, this is why I changed the name of my channel. It used to be Xbox All In. For a lot of you guys who are finding me as All In channel, like, oh, why did you change your name? That's one of the reasons, because I put stuff on my social media that a lot of people don't like. So for somebody like me, I know I'm not palatable, right? Especially with the execs at Microsoft. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. That from a business perspective, it doesn't make sense, right? In fact, I'm one of the guys out here that is screaming at Disney and Marvel and stuff to course correct on their things and make their stuff vanilla again. As a person who shares my opinion, right? But I mean, they have a product that they want to sell. And if you want to sell, right, you want to go with the lowest common denominator. And for me, that's what I used to tell myself when it comes to these dudes. But some of these guys, man, they're just not Xbox. They're just not Xbox All In, dude. I think they like the notoriety of being recognized by Microsoft, by getting insider stuff or whatever they consider insider stuff, because a lot of these dudes are wrong. And the champagne wishes and caviar dreams getting to go to these events, which is fine. Dude, I'm not hating on anybody, dude. I don't, dude, do what you do and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of what it means to be an Xbox guy, dude, and these guys are complaining about stuff, which, again, for me personally, man, I was looking forward to playing Starfield. I want to play Starfield this year, but it's just not going to happen, right? So what do? I just turn to play all the 100 million other games I got to play, And this is why, again, if you're a gamer, you won't have a problem with this kind of stuff, because as a gamer, dude, you have content to play. Right? You should have a backlog of games, right? And then now with Game Pass, it's absolutely ridiculous. And again, if you can't find anything on Game Pass to pay, then I would question myself if I'm a gamer or not. Because that service, all the BS narratives aside, like it doesn't have any AAA this or it doesn't have indie that, or it's not high quality stuff, Again, if you when people tell me that, I know that either they don't play Game Pass, they have it, they don't play it, or they just don't have Game Pass at all. Because I don't know, I can sit there and look at those library of games and not find something to play. Because they got everything across every genre, And for those of you guys out there, all the haters out there that's like, oh, they're not getting AAA titles, you also got to understand that when Microsoft puts stuff into Game Pass, they got to take into consideration all the variables. In fact, I'm glad they do it and not me, because it's very. If I did it, I'd just throw everything in. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad plan. But if you're constantly putting in titles and stuff like that, you have to have some kind of balance, right? You just can't have all shooters. Or if you're putting in indie games and then you're putting say they got a Madden, or they got the next what's that next game coming out? Or the next big game coming out, right? And it's a third party game and they put it in there. That could squash everything else that's in there. Because they're trying to build an ecosystem within there. I don't envy them, man. That's the stuff I think about when I think about all this stuff. That's why I don't go off the deep end when it comes to these games being delayed. Because if it's one thing, if Microsoft didn't have anything and these games got delayed, but they have a lot of stuff, and a lot of the people who are hating on it or riding this wave of discontent or malcontent when it comes to these delays, dude, they're not Xbox dudes, man. They're not. They're either doing it for clicks or they're on the other side. Either way, it's bad. So my point is, when it comes to stuff like this, dude, if you're on this channel, like I'm doing this right now, I'm doing this broadcast, dude. If you want to be happy, be happy. If you want to get excited, get excited. If you want to say something that's outlandish or a conspiracy theory or whatever when it comes to Xbox and what they're going to present at a show, dude, do it. I'm doing the same thing. I'll put myself out there, because it's all fun at the end of the day. This is what it's all about. This is what it was always about. But now you have a bunch of people that are in here that are kind of casual, or they're not hardcore, right? Or don't respect the fandom on that level. And I'm not saying to disrespect it. Respect as in have like a holy ground, like you're on holy ground type of respect. You look at it for what it is. And that's what I want to do on this channel. So if you want to be that way, that's great, dude. If you want to enjoy stuff like that. If you want to be disciplined, be whatever. Because like I said, for me, at the end of the day, if things don't go the way I think it's gonna go, like if they don't buy Sega, or if they buy Sega and they don't put Dreamcast games in the Game Pass, stuff like that. Like for example, right? I'm expecting them to make a big announcement with Activision. Right? I think they understand they're giving every indication that the Activision deal is going through. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's going through sooner than everybody thinks. Right? There's a lot of rumblings out there about, and I'm not just talking about influence. I'm talking people in the know. Right? It's not 100%, right? But it's people that understand how this stuff works. Right? They're talking about that the deal is further along than what a lot of people think. And again, something can be thrown in the mix that throws everything off. That happens, right? But for all intent and purposes, it looks like this thing will happen sooner than later. So, like for example, when they announce stuff with Activision, they'll do at the least they'll probably do the Modern Warfare 2 trailer, right? Or show something special on there, regarding the Modern Warfare 2 release, whatever. Like maybe it will be on Game Pass Day One. I think that would be awesome. Maybe because they're working out deals with Activision because things are getting, you know, the deal's ready to go through. Maybe they'll announce that they're putting a bunch of Activision games in the Game Pass. That would be pretty awesome. And they do stuff like that, and then all this other crap that's been happening in the last couple of months, which were nothing at all, to be honest with you, overblown, right? But then when they start doing stuff like that, all these other things start to fade away. So I would not be surprised if we have an Activision announcement as for Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, also for their other games, whether they be stuff in the future or stuff in the past. I would love to see that. It might not happen. Maybe you're just gonna get a trailer. Maybe you're just gonna get the same trailer that they showed from what is it, the Game Fest thing, right, the other day. Maybe that's all you're gonna get. But you never know. So again, if that doesn't pan out the way I want it to, am I gonna cry? Am I gonna sell my Xbox? Am I gonna sell my Xbox in half? No, I'm not. I'll just carry on. Look for what other announcements they have. Hopefully they'll start talking about the family plan. Because they, according to Twitter, these guys were up on Twitter talking Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, right? So it's Game Pass centric, Game Pass focused. There's a rumor that they're going to get Madden Day One, the new Madden game, and EA, I believe EA came on and debunked that. Whatever. But it was kind of cool having it out there. And I'm saying, like, if I'm not saying about a console thing either, dude. It's just as Xbox guys to Xbox guys, right? Because the PlayStation guys come onto our stuff, right? And I don't know why they do that because they keep on taking L's, especially now. But put that all away, man. I'm just talking about like guys within the community that support Xbox, that love playing Xbox, and just love the system and love what Microsoft does with Xbox. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, Activision announcements would be cool. If they did do an EA announcement, that would be cool. Again, I did a video talking about this. I think it'd be great if they acquired EA, since EA is in the market. And the Activision deal aside, I don't care. I just think they should just buy whatever they can. And I think EA, since we have EA Play, EA would be a good fit for Microsoft because of the content that they have. And I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. My heart is actually would be something like Sega, but who knows? Anyway. Is there anything else? Man, I should have wrote this stuff down because there was a couple other stuff that I wanted to talk about with the Game Fest. I think it is actually pretty cool that they're doing two separate shows. It's just that I'm not sure what they're going to do in the second show. Because if it's like the same thing they did with the show that they had with Paris Philly where he hosted it, which was a fine show, right? But I actually kind of like that kind of stuff when they bring the developers out. I like that old E3 stuff. They bring the people out to talk about it. I can hang with that, but you can consume that at your leisure. What I'm hoping for, though, is it'll be like another event like they're having tomorrow. But I think they've said otherwise. But you never know. They might have some surprises and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I'm just excited to. I can't wait till the show kicks off. Like I said, I'll probably be watching on stream and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a really great event. It just surprises me. Microsoft has so much content right now that looking at 2023, I could actually see them doing an entire E3 just on their stuff alone. So like if E3 is supposed to be coming back next year, right? So you have E3 going on. And as they're doing, the typical E3 stuff, right? It'd be cool to have Microsoft just do something every day. Like have an hour and a half, 2 hour show every single day of E3. Because they can. They absolutely can. They'll have so much content, it would be crazy. Like their content by in 2023 is, it'll be stuff that should have released this year, but it's not. It's going to carry over. On top of the stuff they're going to release already. Now, what they could do is use the games that's supposed to release this year, move it to next year, of course, and then use that as a buffer if any other games need to be worked on or need a little bit more time. Because that's one thing I like what I see what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is actually taking into consideration. They still listen to the consumers, but they're doing a better job of discerning what people to listen to, what not to listen to, and sometimes you just got to go with your gut and go with your own data. And I think that's been serving them well lately. Because if you look on social media, it's an absolute crap show, man. I mean, I wouldn't trust anything on social media. I don't. The number of times that people will say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I'm buying that game day one," and don't. People say all kind of stuff or get excited about stuff but never follow through. So for Microsoft, I would just do what they continually are doing now. I'm not saying they're ignoring the fans. I think they're just being a little bit more better at who they listen to. And since they have so much data, I mean, Xbox One came out in 2013. A lot of the stuff that was throwing that off was so much of the things that they were trying to do incorrect. Or suppose, correct, like, because people have problems with them. Like I said, I'll say it 100 times. I never had any problems with Xbox One from the day it launched. It's always been uphill for me with Xbox. Because I choose to be in this ecosystem. And if I had a problem with Xbox, I wouldn't be here. And that's what gets me with a lot of people, right? They just talk a lot of trash about something, but they're still here. I don't do that kind of stuff, dude. If I like something, I like something. If I don't like something, I'm out. It's that simple. And I won't have to put it on, on a podcast talking about it specifically. I'm just like, dude, I'm done. All right, it was nice, right? And that's the only other thing too, man. It's one thing I love about the showcase tomorrow, and I'm hoping for see is just to continually see Xbox pushing the envelope forward. Whether it be the technology that they're going to do, so whatever they're working with the cloud, um, the games that they're going to be producing, that authentic, real next generation type of gaming. You kind of got a glimpse with that with the latest Forza Horizon. That's why that game sold so well. People were blown away by the look of it. It was more than what people thought it was going to be. In fact, when people watched it, a lot of them were like, "Oh, this is just the FMV or the video." And then when that car switches into real time gaming, a lot of people just couldn't believe it. I know a jaw's dropped, dude. I mean, I've been playing Forza my whole time I've been an Xbox guy, and even when I first saw that trailer, I was like, dang, that's amazing. Yeah. So that's what I think people are expecting. That's something that I believe Microsoft should deliver on. So if that takes time, it takes time. And again, not gonna have a problem with that. A lot of people say, well, yeah, call them holding feet to the fire. Why? Why would I do that when I'm happy with the product? My life doesn't revolve on AAA narrative games. And I said this in my previous video. I'm glad that narrative is dying. It needs to die because it's absolutely BS that people are talking about that these games matter. I'm not saying they don't matter, but to me, they're just another cog in the machine, just another folder in the variety of gaming that's going to be on Game Pass. Right? Just something that you see. It could stand out. It could shine. It could be a better game than the other games. It could actually be a contender for Game of the Year. I'm not saying it can't be all that kind of stuff, but it's basically a placeholder. That's why I love Game Pass, man. I'm not keep on talking about it. You know, like I said before, Game Pass is that equalizer that Microsoft needed to kill all this crap that was being put out by influencers, by being put out by the Sony ponies, that was being put out by the gaming media, which is absolutely horrible. A lot of these guys run on clicks. A lot of these guys are actual fanboys and ideologues for PlayStation, right? So that's what you got to deal with all the time, right? No principle, no morals. Looking out for what's good for the industry in general, right? It's just about them, what they want, what they like, and screw everybody else. And I'm happy that Microsoft and Xbox, got a service like Game Pass, pushed it, and have the potential to just dominate this industry over Game Pass. And I'm all for it, man, because Sony doesn't do anything for me. It's kind of funny to see them starting to change, course correct. kind of look at the bigger picture. And Phil Spencer again, man, he forced them. He forced the industry to kind of look at them again with a wink and a smile, with his nice guy little persona, right? But that's where we're going. That's where we're headed, right? And he's pushing it, so that's cool. And yeah, again, that's what I want to see. I would love to see some of that stuff tomorrow. So I mentioned Activision, some of the other stuff. I'd like to see a lot of the things that Microsoft owns, as the studios that they bought. I like to see a lot of their older content come out, right? And giving it the treatment that is needed, right? Whether it's updated, upgraded, whatever. I start adding that to Game Pass, man. I don't know why Microsoft. I kind of do know why. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think they definitely have room to grow. And if they find that balancing game that I know they can when it comes to releasing content, yeah, dude, it's. I feel like they should be on the road to 1,000 in Game Pass. You know, especially if it continues to grow like it has. I know that I saw the video where people were talking about the app, Game Pass app on Samsung. Which is cool, right? But again, these guys have to work on, at least for me, the cloud aspect of it doesn't necessarily work for me. And I'm not saying it doesn't work for a majority of people, but I'm pretty sure if I'm having issues with it, there's people as far as geography, as far as availability, locality, and all that kind of stuff factor into place. And I'm pretty sure I won't be the only one having it. So if you want to have that global reach, like Phil loves to talk about that 3 billion players, untapped potential, untapped market. That infrastructure has to be top. It has to be. And I hate to say it this way, man, but it has to be infallible. Like I know when I was hanging out with my friend today, man, we went to watch Top Gun, you know, and so I was hanging out with him, and then he was telling me dude, that he couldn't even get on Xbox. The network was down. Now I didn't have a problem with it, but I didn't. I haven't played Xbox all day because I was running around. But when I played it last night, I played it up until I think it was 12 midnight or something like that because I was off today. So I stayed up kind of late and played games, and I never had any problem with the network. But again, if Microsoft wants to be that industry leader, man, that's something that they got to really focus on. And then, look, I think they're doing a good job. The times that it works for me, it's pretty awesome. It solves a lot of problems I have personally when it comes to Xbox. I mean, need the storage space, right? If I don't have to download it, I can just play it on the cloud. That'll save me having to, use up space on my hard drive. Because there's games I absolutely know you won't be able to stream, at least now, not now. But it's something I think that they can do that'll definitely make their position even stronger. It's as strong as it is now. Right? I was just funny because I was talking to Hebot about this, and we were talking about how. And then I put it this way: like Microsoft will take 2 steps forward and like 4 steps back sometimes. Or they come up with these great ideas but never follow through, or they'll buy something or create something and abandon it and abandons its users. That's not a good thing. There's very few things I complain about Microsoft, but they do have some stuff I think they should work on. That's one of them. Yeah, but anyway, so if you want to be happy about it, dude, be happy. If you want to celebrate it, dude, there's guys like myself that are around here, again, here to enjoy, here to enjoy what this is all about, especially as an Xbox guy and it being an Xbox showcase. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I know it's been about 40 minutes. I wanted to keep it to half an hour, but I kind of lost track of time. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. I know it's going to be hard. I mean, we're right on the showcase right now, so I know this video is coming in late. But yeah, I know I'll do a reactions video as well, or a review video to talk about what I think. Yeah, I'll do a string of videos on my channel, so stay tuned if you guys want to see my content. It'll revolve around all of this. I'm kind of, like I said, behind. I'm kind of behind on all this content just for the simple fact that I didn't think I liked this stuff as much as I did, as I said earlier, with the Game Fest. And then if you guys are like me and you guys you guys like a lot of pop culture stuff, dude, Netflix is doing stuff. Just do a search on time online, and you can see there's all kind of multiple events going on. Since we don't have an E3 surrounding Game Fest, right? So yeah, definitely go check that stuff out. Anyway, online channel, host Sega Forever. I've seen people popping in and out. Thank you guys for checking out the video. And again, let me know what you guys think down below. I know we're running on fumes at this point, right? The show's I'll probably crash and then the show will be done. Or I'll probably crash, wake up, and the show will be on, and then this will all be for now. But I wanted to put a little something out there. But I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm glad I went to go see Top Gun. I've been wanting to watch that ever since I saw the first trailers, and I heard a lot of positive stuff about it. And then today I made time to actually go watch it. And by made time, I mean I just made it a day, hanging out with my friend and his family. That was really fun. Sometimes you gotta switch it up, man. You actually gotta go outside and touch grass. It's actually a good thing. It's not negative at all, dude. Just do you. You know, like I said in my, I said on a Twitter post, man, on my social media, I just said, guys, especially for guys, man, we gotta start putting stuff back in boxes. And I know we've gone through like 10, almost 20 years of being told as a guy to be a certain way and stuff like that. And I've never believed that. I've tried to be understanding at that point, but anymore, I don't care. Especially in today's climate, with everything that's going on in the world. I'll just be honest with you, dude. Real men are needed. And what I mean by real men is just people that have some type of stability, some type of respect and moral standards. And I think one of the best things to do is like go back to what men do used to do in the past, is just put stuff in boxes. Right? You can do this on one day, you can do this on another day. You can focus on this, whether it's job related with your kids, right? Something as trivial as reading a book that you've always wanted to read, doing stuff around the house. Like I did today, man, just going out and hanging out with other adults that are not into gaming as hardcore as I am, talking about other stuff outside of everything that influences everything I do on YouTube, which is, it's not my life. Totally, dude. It is a part of my life, but it's not. It's always good to switch things up. And again, that's what I mean. Especially if you're a dude, man, right? Start doing that, man. Start putting your stuff in boxes. Right? And like I said, society will tell you, no, you got to be more sensitive. You got to be more caring. You got to think about other things. Nope. No, dude. As long as I've been on this earth, I'm telling you right now, dude. A man's got to be a man. And if you got to, then that's what you got to do. Just to sort stuff up and to stay sane, especially nowadays. Yep. So that's my advice to you guys. And again, let me know what you guys think down below. All right. Online channel. We'll save it forever. We out.